Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Shorty, Big Mama, Big Papa. If you don't know, now you know. But what's up, y'all? It is Shorty, Shorty Black, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, what's up, little mama? What's up, little papa? What's up? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the fam. Welcome to your healing journey. I'm gonna be doing a bunch of story times on this channel because I've been through a lot and I'm sure you've been through a lot, so let's help each other? Or no? You're a hater? Okay, that's fine. I don't talk to haters, talk to the hand. Talk to the hand. But no, in all serious, welcome to my channel. If you are new here or if you are returning, I really appreciate it. My last video did get some love. I see the views, all of that. You know, y'all, I just want to just be able to help y'all heal as well as myself heal by telling my story time and telling my story. So the last one, I did talk about how I did lose my baby. I had my miscarriage. But in that video, if you haven't already checked it out, go ahead and click on that story time before you hit this one if you want. You don't have to. I'm not telling you what to do. But I was talking about my ex-fiance. So that's what this video is about. How I found out my ex-fiance cheated on me. Whew, child, it's been some years since I've wanted to talk about it or anything like that. Now, disclaimer, I am not bashing anybody on this video. Now, if I do get upset, I am upset. That doesn't mean that you get upset and hate that person, because everyone has their own healing journey. Sometimes two people are just not meant to be together no matter how bad they want to be together. It's just sometimes things just don't work out and you get to find somebody new, and luckily 2 years later I found someone even more incredible. So here we are. So a little backstory about me and my ex-fiance. We were actually friends before we got together. We were like best friends and we would tell each other literally everything. And he was just an incredible person, and I'm not gonna sit here and bash him and say that he wasn't. He's an okay dude, you know. I mean, he was my fiance. I said yes, you know. Something I had to give. What Blueface say? But yeah, so with that being said, we did, I did end up coming from Texas to California. Well, to California from, I came from California to Texas to come be with him because he was like, why don't you just come over here? Like, you're going through a lot, whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up coming down here thinking that everything was going to be Candyland, and it was absolutely not that. Like, it was like, but luckily I had two really good friends. One of my best friends, Angelica, and her husband Philip. They were not married at the time, but they let me come stay with them at their apartment for like a really long while, and I'm just always be appreciative of that. But when I stayed with them, I would constantly go out and see my boyfriend at the time, my ex-fiance, and everything was cool. I would go to his shows, like support him. It was just like this magical, wonderful fairy tale that he would write songs in my face and like rap to me and things like that. So of course a bitch gonna be in love. I fall fast. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I mean, come on now. But here's when things got a little bit interesting. He did already have a baby before me, his daughter, and I thought that him and his baby mother were not together because that's what he told me. So one day he ends up going out. This is a backstory from. This is not how I found out he cheated on me. This is a backstory. He cheated on me the first time. So the first time he cheated on me, he actually went to a show and he left his phone or his Facebook logged in or something like that. And I got a ding from his Facebook, and it was his baby mother. And they were saying, I love you. He was saying good morning to her, all while he was next to me. So I ended up texting her and I was like, hey, I'm just letting you know that we're together. Like, I didn't even know that y'all were together or if you guys just got together, but we were already together, And so she was mad, whatever. And so I ended up writing like this hit song called I went ahead and told your baby mama. I went ahead and told your baby mama. Yeah, I wrote that. Okay, the baby mama song. If you're in the DFW, you know that I'm known for the baby mama song. So anyways, so that's the first time he cheated, and we actually split for like a year. We did not talk to each other. What he did within that year is his business. I do not give a okay, I don't. And so a year later, I was going to events because in the DFW, if you don't know, it's Dallas Fort Worth. They throw speakeasies, open mics, and things like that. And I really love music, singing, and people really like the Baby Mama song and like my voice, so I would always go perform. So one night I went, by myself. I would always go to these shows by myself, but I had a lot of friends there. So one night I seen him and I was like, dude, hey, but he looked like so sad, and I was like, dude, hey, like, what's going on? And I went outside, talked to him. We ended up getting back together. And so everything was good. We went through a little struggle. We were in and out of motels all the time. We just had a shitload of drama, like just a shitload, a shit ton. And we'll get to that in a later time. But so fast forward to I think 2 years into our relationship, I want to say. We ended up a year into a relationship the second time. So we ended up moving into his dad's apartment, which I told y'all last time from the last story time. And we took over his dad's lease. So he had a job right down the street. I had the job at the airport. Coincidental? I think not. It was great. It was so close to us. We wouldn't have anything to worry about except the bills and the stress that we had to constantly deal with. But that's neither here nor there. And so usually I knew when he went to work, I would get home and I would immediately start making dinner, okay? Immediately. Because not only did I know that my man was going to be hungry, girl, I was hungry. I would literally be eating and cooking, okay? Master chef, okay? Someone called Gordon Ramsay. But, so, he usually got home at around 4:15 at the latest. So one day he wasn't home at 4:15 the latest. So I texted him and I was like, hey, what's going on? Dinner's already ready. What's going on? And he's like, oh, I had to do something with my boss. They told me to stay late. So I was like, okay, that's weird. That it was just weird to me because when you have an intuition, my intuition went off. It was in my stomach and I was like, that's something is off. But I didn't want to be that person that was like, no, you're a liar. But no, turns out he was lying. So I was just waiting around. I turned the food on low so it wouldn't get cold or anything like that. And I went into our room. We had a 1-bedroom apartment. We had 2 dogs and 1 cat, Nami Chonk, and the cat's name was Peppa. And so we would always just stay in the room. We never really went into the living room, so we would always stay in our room. So our room literally had everything, so we didn't have to leave. So I went into the room and I found his old phone, which keep that in your mind. His old phone. He had 2 phones, and I had went through it, and I seen a freaking my piece in there, and I was like, we have been arguing for the longest lately. So I was like, oh, my piece. And I click on it and I was like, that's not my number. That's not my number. And I'm a freaking detective because I know that the phone number on Apple will update no matter what device it is. It'll update in the contacts. So I knew that was new. So I called him and I was like, who's my piece? Who's my piece? And that's when he started laughing at me in the phone, and he was laughing at me crying and screaming and acting belligerent, and he was like, you see what happens when you're nosy, you see, and basically just laughing at my pain. So I did end up texting the girl. I texted this girl, which keep in mind, I did not know this girl, but you gotta keep that in mind. I did not know this girl. So I texted her and I was like, yo, do you know that he's married? Do you know that he's about to get married? Do you know we have a family? Did you know all that? This toilet decided to tell me, yes, and that's why I'm beeping your husband. And I was like, oh, hell no. The inner Medea Latina, everything came out. And I was like, all right, everybody can get it. Everybody can get it. And I'm about to be like, oh, I didn't even know what to do. I was just walking, pacing back and forth, crying, screaming. I felt like my whole world just fell apart. My whole world entirely fell apart. And I just didn't know how to cope with that. And I honestly, to this day, I still don't know how to cope with it. I'm still healing from it. from trusting somebody with my entire heart and my mind and my soul and my body. And I still, till this day, have like really nasty trust issues. But with her texting me saying like, oh, that's why I'm your dude, your husband, I was like, you got a death wish. You for sure do. You need to go. Come get your butt whooped, because that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to put the fear of the Lord into your butt. And apparently they met at work. So while I'm at work making money trying to keep our household afloat, and he's at work, and I'm thinking, oh, he's just at work. No. He had already met somebody at work while we're still together. And now, with my new relationship, now I have like this fear in the back of my mind, like, okay, when I'm not at home, what is he doing? When I'm not at home, what's going on? And I have this fear, like, oh my God, what if he gets a job and he falls in love with somebody else and this whole thing happens? And that's a traumatic fear that I have to deal with. Because he couldn't be honest and be like, dang, I met somebody else. That I met someone at work and I'm sorry, we need to break up, I don't want to hurt you. It could have went like that, it really could. But no, you have homegirl thinking that she's a city girl or something, and turns out the girl was actually 18 years old. Dude, you are 30 messing with an 18-year-old. Come on now. Where's the parents? And like, after she texted me that, and I told you I was outside, I went inside and I started screaming again and throwing everything again. And then I actually ended up leaving, like, to go to work. And I had, booty shorts on, a big ass t-shirt, and I had to call my friend, and she let me stay with her, and everything was cool and great. But while I was still waiting for like my homegirl to get out, and I was just losing my mind, because I couldn't grasp the reality. I just couldn't grasp onto it. He ended up calling me back, and he was crying, and he was like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm sorry too. Like, what am I sorry for? But I'm losing my mind, because I literally just lost everything within minutes. My house, my dogs, everything. I just lost it. And so he's telling me like, well, it's because we have been arguing more lately, and you just don't listen to me. You don't do anything. I don't do anything. Every day I have dinner made. All the time. I will always put him before me. I had lost myself so bad that I didn't even feel pretty anymore. That I didn't feel human anymore. I didn't feel myself anymore. Because I had said yes when I really, really wanted to say no with you. I had lost so many opportunities putting him in front of me. And you want to sit there and do that when you knew the sacrifices it was to and so for this little city girl to tell me like that, and for him to turn around and call me crying, saying he's sorry, that's what y'all talking about. He hates me, but I can have the apartment, but he has to ask his dad first. We all know his daddy would have said no. And like, I was at loss for words for like ever. Like, when I moved in with my homegirl's house, every night I would call him. Every night that I had stayed with her, I had called him on private, on everything, and I would just call over and over. You could look at my old call logs, probably say 180 times just to hear the voicemail, or just to hope that he would answer, just to even hear him just like breathe in the phone, like, because I didn't want to let it go. And he kept telling me, let it go, let me go, you need to let me go, like, I don't love you anymore. And I was just like, no, that's not true. Like, that's not true. We just had a baby. Like, we have this house. We have everything. Like, we've done everything together. Why? How do you not love me anymore? And I wasn't ready to accept reality that he had found somebody else that made him happy. And it doesn't hurt anymore, because when we were emailing back and forth 2 years after, so like last year we were emailing back and forth, and he had told me like, oh, I want to see you, but I only want to see you in person, and I was like, in person, like, whatever. But he had made it seem like him and his girlfriend had broken up. Turns out they actually hadn't broken up. They had not broken up. And so, well, before I get to that, actually, I want to let y'all know about what it was like trying to get my stuff back from him to move into my homegirl, cause I'm moving too fast. So I had been begging this dude to let me go get my stuff. A week went by, and I had to go to Walmart. Luckily, I have a great job, so like I had to go to Walmart and buy new clothes every day. You know, new underwears, new pants, new shirts, just to go to work. And my homegirl would let me wear her shoes. So like so like my homegirl would let me wear her shoes and stuff like that till I got my own clothes. Which shout out to Christina, thank you, and her family. Like seriously. And so finally he lets me go get my clothes, like all my clothes. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I call my other best friend, Day, and I'm like, hey, can you take me to go over there? She's like, yeah, I'll come with you. We'll go get the stuff together. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like texting back and forth with him, and I'm like, hey, I'm about to come. And he's like, well, actually, no, not right now. Trying to like act like he's got all this empowerment because this girl, I'm assuming, is pumping his head up with air when he really knows what it is. He really knows who I am. He really knows. So like, I ain't even gonna go there. But I ended up having to argue with him, and I was like, I'm coming now. So I suggested you and her, unless everyone wants to catch these hands from me and they, I suggest y'all leave. So he ended up leaving, left the door unlocked. And so I go in there, and like I'm collecting all my stuff, but I walk past the trash can, and I'm like, where's the animals with my? I see my cat, she came out. And I walk past the trash can, and in the trash can is my baby's stuff, the one that we had just lost, with used condoms on my baby's stuff in the trash. Used condoms. You think I gave a rat's butt about some used condoms? You could have him. But the disrespect is that you put used condoms on my child, our child, whether or not he wants to admit it. We did have a child together. We did. And it unfortunately passed. And guess what? You disrespected not only me, but you disrespected our baby. And that was crazy. That's when I lost it. I had completely and utterly lost my mind. After seeing that, I was just so angry. I was so hurt. I wanted to fight everybody. Anyone that looked at me wrong, breathed in my direction, a bird, I did not care. Someone was catching something. So I ended up doing what normal people do, and I went and I peed on the bed. I squatted and I peed on the bed, and that's exactly what I did. Along with throwing his shoes and everything else, and everything that, I'm not gonna incriminate myself, but everything that I did, because he knows what I did, she knows what I did. They were in my apartment, and then he moved her in to my apartment. But anyway, I ended up grabbing all my stuff from what I could, because like I said, I was so hot, I was so mad. And if you're like a hothead, then you know that when you get mad, there isn't really like, it's just like you're just seeing red, and that's all I was seeing was just red. So I grabbed what I can grab, and on the way out, I did grab the condoms from the trash, and I put it on the doorknob. I grabbed all the cards, pictures, this album that I had made for him for his birthday that had all his pictures, all our pictures, all our friends' pictures, that I had made together that we could, scrapbook throughout the years that we were gonna get married. And man, I tore all that shit up, and I left it in the front door, and I put the used condoms on the doorknob, so when they came back, yeah, go ahead and touch your nastiness. Go ahead, since you want to be nasty, I'm gonna be nasty too, and good luck sleeping on that pee infested bed. So the next time she face down, butt up, yeah, you gonna be smelling me, girl. Cause you wanna think you left the mark on my life? Oh, I for sure left the mark on yours. But yeah, like I was saying, leaving marks. But anyways, fast forward to the other part that I was telling y'all. So years later, we had actually met up in person, but he made it seem like as if him and the girl were not together anymore. And so we ended up meeting up, and he was just saying like, oh, he was just acting like a victim, like I did like something to him, but he was like, oh, don't hit me, no. And I was like, don't hit you, what are you talking, do you have, is punked in here, and do I look like I'm finna just backhand your ass, even though you probably deserve it? But I'm not gonna lay my hands on you. And I had told him nicely too. I was like, "What are you doing? Like, I'm not even gonna hit you. I'm not. That's not even a thought in my mind." So we're sitting there in his car, and he's just telling me like, and this dude starts crying again. Why are you crying? I'm the one that needs to be crying here. And he's like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I wish I did it differently. Like, I just wish that me and you could be back together." Da, da, da. And then I was like, if he, like, I was just sitting there and I was like, what? Like, like, what the hell? Like, like, what are you talking about, dude? And so I'm just like, oh, well, you can't, but I appreciate what happened. I really do. I really grew a lot from it. I forgive you. I forgive you for what happened. I really do. I forgive you and I forgive myself. And I forgive homegirl. Too. Because she thinks she won. Baby girl, I know I know you know now you did not hit the lottery. I know you know now. And so, I was like, I found out that, the girl was pregnant. So I was like, congratulations on having another baby, whatever. I'm sorry it didn't work out with you. And he was like, yeah, I do have another baby on the way. I was like, well, it's good. Like, I'm really happy. I'm really happy for you. Hopefully you can do good with this one. And so we're sitting there and I'm just quiet. I'm not even looking at him. I'm just like looking around. And he's just like sitting there and I can feel him, like his eyes burning into my scalp. And I look over at him and I'm like, what? Because I don't like when people stare at me. That's like my biggest pet peeve. Do not stare at me. I don't know if it's the Californian in me. I don't know. I don't like to be stared at. So I was like, what? And he was like, I just really wish I could kiss you right now. And I was like, oh, no. No, sir. I didn't have a boyfriend at the time or anything like that. But it was me. Like, I was just not attracted to him. Like, after seeing him after so many years and everything that we went through, like, I just not find him attractive. To be honest, I'm not going to say what I want to say. I'm going to keep it to myself. Okay. So, I just wasn't attracted to him. And to find out, he was like, well, I'm also still with her. And I was like, that's my cue to get out this car and get the hell away from you because you have not changed. I thought we could be cool, calm, and collected. I thought we could have been like, friends. I really did. Even after you wrote this whole EP about how I wasn't, and how I was always at work and how whether or not we, had a baby, things like that. Like, just like basically saying that you regret me. And I was like, okay, that's cool. You can regret me all you want, but I still happen. You can hate me all you want. You can hate me all you want. Big mama. Hey, big mama. Hey. But I'm still a huge factor in your life, whether you want to admit it or not. So, and maybe I'm just being petty. I'm sorry. But for you to put me through all that mess, write songs about it, make everything public, and you want to sit here and still try to hurt me again? I was like, damn, dude, you ain't got no limit. Say a milli, like, damn. So like, after I left the car, I felt so much better. Like, I didn't even need the closure I thought I needed. Because you still haven't changed. He still hasn't changed. And he's still with the girl till this day. And good for them. And I'm not sad about it. I'm sad that it happened the way that it did. And I had to find out like that. But I'm not sad that we went our separate ways. Our relationship was toxic. It was domestic. It was driving us both mad and crazy. We were losing ourselves in each other, and we were just not meant to be. And honestly, that's okay. And sometimes when you feel that way and you gotta go separate ways, just do that. Don't cheat. Just be like, hey, I don't think this is working out, or hey, like, I found somebody else. I'm sorry. Like, I don't want to hurt you like that. I just want to end it before it continues on, And that was the way it should have went, when you're honest and you don't want to hurt anyone. And now with my current partner, like, such a patient person, because I like, sometimes I do get a little crazy because I'm hurt, but I'm healing. And this is my advice to anyone who's gone through something like this. But don't get into another relationship. with somebody when you're not 100% fully healed, because it's not their job to take on the trauma that somebody else put on you. It's not their job. It's your job to heal yourself. Whichever way you want to do it, whether if it's with healing stones, you want to go into a Buddha temple, you want to pray on your knees, if, get on LSD and take a trip to the moon, like however you feel like you have to heal, do that before you hurt another person. Because you don't, another person doesn't deserve to get hurt and go through those things. That's why when he's seen me behind her back, whether or not we did anything, I wouldn't want my partner to do that. So why would you do it? Why would you not like think like, that'll probably hurt my partner's feelings, let me not do that. I'm supposed to be a changed person. Like it's been this many years and I'm still acting a fool. But just heal yourself. Whether you're the cheater, the cheatee, whether you just went through a really nasty relationship, just take the time to heal yourself, because only you can heal yourself, and you owe it to yourself to forgive that person and to forgive yourself if you're the person that it happened to. And when you know that you have to walk away, just walk away. It's okay. It's gonna hurt and it's gonna sting and it's gonna feel like the end of the world, but it's okay to start over, because I started over. And I'm still in the process of starting over and barely getting myself back together to who I was before, and probably even better, which is why I started my YouTube journey. So hopefully this story time helps you heal, like me being able to tell it is helping me heal. So if you've been through any similar situations or anything like that, go ahead and leave it in the comment, share with somebody else. And just thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. So if you want to like, subscribe, share, whatever you want to do, you can. So thanks for being a little mama, a little papa, a big mama, and a big papa. And I appreciate y'all for joining the family. If you have already subscribed, I do see the love and the likes and everything, and the views. The views have just been so crazy. So like I said, I really hope that y'all enjoy this story time. And like I said, it's not to bash anybody, it's just to get it off my heart. And I got it off my heart, and now I told my side of the story, and now anything that feels like it's gonna attack me doesn't bother me anymore. So y'all have a great rest of your lovely, oh, it's not even Sunday, y'all. At the beginning of the video I said Sunday. It's actually Monday. That's how you know I'm out the loop. I work too much. All right, bye.